Welcome back to VP Reaction. I'm Vicky.
Peter here.
Welcome to today's reaction episode whereby we're back with I think it's a biography, full biography of Prince. Sorry.
Prince, yeah.
Yeah, Prince. And I think we've been asking for this for some time, and we wanted to know much about him, his musical career, his childhood, personality, and all that. So this, I think, is like just a documentary or a full biography of him. So stay tuned, guys, as we are going to watch with you. This was brought to us by Dan, so thank you so much, Dan, for this. I really hope this is more of exploration. Exactly. We're gonna learn much about him, so this is gonna be interesting.
Yeah, guys, don't forget to like it, subscribe here. Consider that we do this here each and every day. Apart from music, such videos will also do it here. Movies are including also that. So check on our description of our YouTube channel. There is a buy me coffee link that you can use to hit on us, just like that. This was brought to us by Dan. So just like Dan, you can give us any that's your favorite or any that you like to be featured in our family using that link on our description.
Okay, let's find out more.
The full story is covering music career, childhood, and last years of life. Let's go.
Prince came into this world to leave an indelible mark as a great artist, a musical genius, and a unique adventurer, shocking fans with his stage outfits and experimental style. How did the evolution of this musical genius unfold? And what happened in the final years of his life? Welcome to the Top Hub Legends. Let's start. Prince Rogers Nelson was born on June 7, 1958, at Mount Sinai Hospital in Minneapolis. His father, John L. Nelson.
So when the Beatles were performing at the time, he was born.
That
was the time he was born. So he was pretty young.
When they were starting, when they were starting.
When they were beginning their band, and then he was born at that time. Okay, that's good.
Was a pianist and songwriter. And his mother, Mattie Della Shaw, was a jazz singer in his band. Prince's father named him after his New Orleans jazz group, the Prince Rogers Trio.
But I named him Prince because I want him to do everything that I really intended to do.
Said John L. Nelson. John and Mattie married on August 31st, 1957, and joined the migration north, heading to Minneapolis. Although Minneapolis had only 1% of the black population, the city had a reputation for racial tolerance, thanks in part to its large Scandinavian community, which appreciated the city's cold atmosphere. Prince's only full sibling, his sister Tyka Evene, was born on May 18, 1960. From John's first marriage, Prince had 5 older half-siblings: Sharon Nelson, Noreen Nelson, Lorna Nelson, John R. Nelson, and Dwayne Nelson. In 1960, the relationship between John and Mattie began to noticeably deteriorate, primarily due to the failure of Nelson's jazz trio, and they divorced 5 years later. In 1967, Mattie remarried, this time to Hayward Baker, and in 1970, they had a son named Omar Baker. Although Prince lived with his mother, he spent a lot of time with his father. During the day, his father worked as a plastics worker at the city's Honeywell factory, but at night he performed in jazz clubs and strip bars in Minneapolis. Prince often attended these performances, standing backstage and studying his father's act. Prince was also an enthusiastic and skilled
So all that he was learning from his dad.
His
dad was like an artist too.
He was a pianist.
A pianist of the jazz music.
In the band, He was the band Prince. What band? The name, like he said that he named Prince after the band that he was in. The jazz band.
Basketball player. But due to his height of 5 feet 2 inches, he was unable to pursue his athletic ambitions, so he immersed himself fully in music. His father had a significant influence on Prince's early career. Later, Prince shared songwriting credits with John, partly to provide his father with financial support through royalties. Prince spent hours learning to play various instruments, starting with the piano that his father left him, and he taught himself to play the soundtracks of his favorite TV shows, such as Batman. Soon, Prince wrote his first song, which marked the beginning of his future career, Funk Machine.
Number 1.
In 1970, Prince's relationship with his stepfather became increasingly strained, forcing him to leave home. He moved in with his elderly aunt, Since he no longer had access to a piano, Prince turned to the electric guitar, much to his aunt's dismay, as she couldn't tolerate the noise. And 2 years later, Prince moved to his father's house. While in the 7th grade at Bryant Junior High School, Prince met Andre Simon Anderson, and they became inseparable friends, bonded by their shared passion for music. When Prince's relationship with his father became unbearable, he realized he needed another place to stay.
Okay.
Anderson then
So his entire life he was like moving from his mom, from his mom's place to his aunt's place, and now to his dad's place, and also it's becoming unbearable. So he has to move again. And remember, he has to learn to play the guitars after he didn't have that access to the piano.
In the aunt's place, huh?
Yes. Wow. That's how he learned to play the guitar, the acoustic
But his aunt could not tolerate that.
The noise.
The noise.
So he has to move to his dad's place. And also the I don't know what might be the reason where his dad's place is also unbearable to live.
asked his mother, Bernadette, if Prince could live with them. Bernadette Anderson, a social worker with 6 children, took Prince in and set up a room for him in her basement. Prince and Andre spent countless hours jamming in that basement, and in 1973 they formed the band Grand Central, named after their junior high school, with Andre styling his stage name as Andre Simone.
Okay.
The band consisted of Prince, keyboards and guitar, Andre, bass, and Prince's cousin Charles Smith, drums. The lineup soon expanded to include Andre's older sister, Linda Anderson, keyboards, their neighbor Terry Jackson, and William Doherty, percussion. The band performed cover versions of their favorite funk tunes of the time, and since they played these as instrumental compositions, a vocalist was not needed. On December 4, 1975, Prince and Andre got a job as session musicians, entering their first professional recording studio, Cookhouse Studio in South Minneapolis, to record instrumental tracks for a newly formed funk band, 94 East, led by local musician Pepe Willie.
If you're hearing these words,
this is very interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Like they started by singing out, playing an instrument, cover instruments.
born a guardian angel.
Sorry for that. Let's continue now.
In 1975, Maurice Day, Dougherty's cousin, who had become friends with Andre, was invited to join the band, replacing Charles Smith as the drummer. In 1976, Day's mother, Lavonne Dougherty, became the band's manager and renamed it Grand Central Corporation. Before they finished school, the band was renamed Champagne. As for Pepe Willie, he became a mentor to Prince, teaching him the art of songwriting and guiding him in the workings of the music industry, which would be crucial for Prince's future career. Chris Moon, a British sound engineer and songwriter, and the owner of Moon Sound Studios on the outskirts of Minneapolis, charged $35 an hour for studio time. He was looking for a pianist for a track he was recording and called the local band Champagne. When Prince started playing, Moon was astonished by the musician's skill. Not only could Prince play the piano, but he was also highly proficient on the synthesizer, drums, electric guitar, and bass guitar. Captivated by Prince's talent, Moon offered him free use of his studio, taught him how to operate the 16-track recording console, and encouraged him to sing, not just play instruments. Prince left the band to spend the summer working with Moon, collaborating on writing and recording tracks. Moon wrote the lyrics, while Prince composed the music. One of these tracks was Soft and Wet. When Moon played the song for Owen Husney, the head of the local music management company American Artists, Husney, who initially thought he was listening to a band, was shocked to learn that it was just one guy playing all the instruments. Recognizing
Wow, that is incredible.
Yeah.
And you remember the other time when we did a Prince in that performance of George Harrison?
Yeah.
Someone told us that I think it was Dan or someone. He said that he could play up to I think 29 instruments or something.
Okay.
Like Prince knows how to play so many instruments.
That's pure talent. Huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
That you could hear this part where he was just shocked that
Yeah.
Is it a band?
And the Moon manager, that's the Moon station, that's so the studio.
Yeah.
Where he was now recording, told him like it was just only
one person playing all those instruments, and he was just shocked.
Prince's immense potential, Husney arranged studio time with experienced local sound engineer David Rivkin to record a demo reel at Sound 80 Studio in downtown Minneapolis. Husney put together a simple press kit, branding it with just Prince and providing minimal information. Prince's talent spoke for itself. Armed with 15 press kits and the demo tape, Prince and Husney flew to Los Angeles to pitch to the biggest record labels. Husney showed the tape to his industry contacts, and although they received rejections from ABC and RSO, 3 labels expressed interest: Warner Brothers Records, A&M Records, and Columbia. However, Prince was determined to sign with a label that would grant him full creative control in the studio. Husney secured a meeting with Warner Brothers Vice President of Promotion, Russ Thyrett. Although Warner was a well-established label, with Fleetwood Mac as its flagship band at the time, the label was not known for signing black artists. Unfortunately, during the 1970s, black music was still segregated into its own Billboard chart, a practice that continued until October 1990. And this, our friends, seems to us to be a very shameful story. It is unacceptable. Prince was impressed by how Warner chairman Mo Austin, who had signed legends like Lennon, Hendrix, and Fleetwood Mac, nurtured artists' development. After a brief studio audition, Warner's head of A&R, Lenny Waronker, was so captivated by Prince's abilities that he eagerly allowed Prince to produce his own record. Recognizing Prince's star power and talent, along with the efforts of A&M and Columbia, who were also competing to sign him, Thyrett took it upon himself to convince Prince that Warner was the right label for him. The deal was then sealed. And now, friends, we move on to one of the most fascinating parts of Prince's life, the beginning of his musical career. The contract with...
We were not just there.
So when all this was happening, he is not for he was not under any contract.
Yeah, I think that was like he was now trying to join into the music industry.
Yeah.
He was not that well known. He was not even signed under any label. So
but
he was
listening to their stories, you can remember that time when it was Little Richard complaining of the challenges that he was going through before he knew how contracts were being dealt with, everything. He gave an example of Little Richard. He said like Little Richard used his courage, like, the way that he just dresses like Little Richard's, and in the contracts wise, he said that for example, he used Prince on that conversation, saying that Prince didn't have that major challenges the way he had.
Because Little Richard came way before Prince. Prince came when at least maybe things had started to change a little bit.
And you know everything about a contract. You can compare, not just being called.
Or you can get some specialists. Maybe your manager can consult and all that.
Exactly. Oh, these are good. Let's continue, guys.
Signed on June 25th, 1977, and Prince, who was already 19 years old at the time, received a check for $80,000 for the production of 3 albums.
Wow!
At 19 years?
$80,000?
$80,000.
Wow, like that's a lot of money in our country.
To produce the 3 albums?
Wow. It just makes me to feel like I want to be a musician. Like $80,000, and it was that time.
That time.
Wow. I feel like that was a good money, maybe.
Yeah, $80,000?
For 3 albums or something.
3 albums.
Yeah. To produce.
A considerable sum of money back then.
Okay.
The label also offered Prince the chance to work with Earth, Wind and Fire's producer on his debut album, but he declined. He didn't want their sound to influence his recording.
What?
Prince wanted to create his album entirely on his own.
Okay.
The signing of the contract made Prince the youngest producer in the recording industry. In August of that year, Prince and Husney,
youngest producer, so he was also a producer because
Yeah, he produced his own
music.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah.
So he's like jack of all trades.
Yeah, I remember when he was in the Moon studio with the manager, just forgot the name, is the where he was being shown on how to operate. The studio that they were paying $35 US per hour.
Yeah.
He was given a chance to go there, start working, recording the track that made him to come and advertise himself with.
Yeah, to look for a label.
A label with. I think he had already known how to produce his own music.
Oh, wow. Impressive. At 19.
At 19.
Oh, wow.
What could you do at 19?
I think I was just a student. Just focusing with my studies.
You could prepare supper.
Yeah.
traveled to Sausalito, near San Francisco, to the Record Plant studio. There, Prince, alongside engineer Tommy Vicari, began working on his debut album with a grueling schedule. The sessions stretched over 3 months instead of 1, and working relations with Vicari became tense. It was there and then that Prince met his key musical inspiration, Sly from Sly and the Family Stone. With 20 songs recorded during the sessions at Sound 80, Prince reduced the number to 10 and re-recorded them in Sausalito. 9 of them made it onto his debut album, For You. The album was released on April 7th the following year and debuted at number 138 on the Billboard album chart.
This is a great album. I got this and Soft and Wet and For You and all the songs that are on there. Those are good songs.
A distinctive feature of this album was that Prince not only produced each track, but also arranged, wrote and performed them, playing all 27 instruments himself. Being quite a reserved person,
27.
Prince responded briefly.
That's what I was talking about. 27. Wow. In just one album.
So he could play one instrument, then play another one, then he could combine them at once, then add a voiceover on it. That's the song.
I don't know, but
he did it.
Just that challenge, like even it's not about combining. It's about playing those instruments. Like imagine you have the talent, like you can play a piano, you can play a guitar, you can play maybe bass, you can play I don't know what, until 29 different instruments. Like you have that talent, you can play them so well. That's like a great talent.
Exactly.
Wow.
Briefly to questions about why he did everything on his own.
Yeah.
It was simply easier than explaining to others what he wanted. In this case, his genius cannot be ignored. The lead single, Soft and Wet, from his debut album, had moderate success and reached number 12 on the Billboard Soul chart.
Oh, that one reached number 12, huh?
It really tried. So.
Yeah. He said that it became easier for him to work alone.
Yeah.
To include someone that
like he didn't needed maybe a band or something. So because he can play all that, so it's like a genius.
Yeah, genius. He feels it's hard for him to explain to someone to do it. It's easier for him to do it for himself.
Maybe learn and do it.
Prince assembled a backup band for live performances during the tour supporting his album. Andre was recruited on bass guitar, and Bobby Z. Rivkin, brother and studio manager of engineer David Rivkin at Moonsound, played drums. Local musician Des Dickerson, who responded to an ad Prince placed in the Twin Cities Reader, was signed on guitar. Gail Chapman, hired after attending an audition with Prince, and Matt Fink, introduced to Prince by Bobby Z, joined him on keyboards. The backup band was also set to be named the Rebels, and in July 1979, they traveled to Colorado to write tracks for their own album. Although Warner considered this a distraction and the band continued to operate under the name Prince, it planted the ambition in him to create his own band in the future. The band's first concerts took place on January 5th and 6th, 1979, at the Capri Theatre, drawing only 300 attendees. It was weird. It was mostly kids from 11 to 20. They were relating to me being so young, he told the Minneapolis Star on January 5th. There have been ads in the teen magazines, and my age has really come up. The kids would ask me if my real name is Prince, what soft and wet means, and did I really play all those instruments myself. Although the first concert was for the public.
Kids were just curious, like, Okay, are you
And
serious?
read
Or
the
you-
turnout, like there were only 300.
Yeah, but
Around there.
and they were kids,
And they
mostly
were kids.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's
Okay.
your first
It was
album.
pivotal for Warner,
Okay.
who decided that the band was not yet ready for a tour. Warner Studio concluded that Prince needed stable guidance from a more experienced manager due to the extended time required to produce the album and the nearly exhausted funds allocated for 3 albums rather than just one. They introduced Prince to Hollywood firm Bob Cavallo, Joe Ruffalo, and Steve Fagnoli. Husney was replaced by Fagnoli, who sent Prince to Alpha Studios in California. The second album, released in October 1979 under the title Prince, reached number 141 on the album chart by December. The first single, I Wanna Be Your Lover, also became Prince's first hit, topping the Billboard Hot Soul Singles chart and reaching number 11 on the Hot 100.
Oh, wow.
Finally, Prince and the band went on their promotional tour, headlining their own shows. On January 26, 1980, Prince made his first television appearance on the popular CBS show American Bandstand. But unfortunately, the performance did not go well. Having earned enough money, Prince bought a ranch on Kiowa Trail in Chanhassen, a secluded area on the outskirts of Minnesota, and was looking forward to setting up his own studio, where he would later create unforgettable and beloved tracks. But while the renovations were underway, the recording of his third album, Dirty Mind, took place in the basement of the rented house. Since Prince didn't want to be seen as just another R&B performer, he decided to change his image to stand out. Deeply rooted in funk and unabashedly provocative, the revolutionary rock and roll of Dirty Mind garnered public attention for Prince. In September of the same year, Gail Chapman was replaced by Lisa Coleman after a successful audition. Chapman, a devout Christian, left the band due to a moral conflict with Prince, who wanted her to perform the extremely erotic lyrics of the song Head for the upcoming tour. In December of the same year, the Dirty Mind tour began, and this time Prince headlined a theatrical tour. These concerts also marked Prince's first appearance in Europe, where he was well received.
I've just seen his outfit and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Did he just perform with that?
Yeah. What about if he just removed the trench coat?
Oh,
That's why he said that the other, was it a pianist?
Christina,
Yeah.
somebody, Christina.
Campbell.
Christina,
Yeah.
somebody, like she had to just quit because
Quit.
of that erotic vibe that Prince wanted her to perform.
Though the album itself is called that.
Dirty Mind, yeah, you can imagine.
Prince caught the attention of the Rolling Stones, who on October 9th, 1981, invited him to open for their concerts at the Los
crazy.
Angeles Memorial Coliseum, drawing 94,000 attendees each night. However, the rock audience at Rolling Stones was unable to understand or appreciate Prince and his music, which may have been apparent. The band was booed and left the stage, returning to Minneapolis. Despite this, Prince emerged even stronger. Finally, Prince moved into his ranch, painting it purple, converting a downstairs bedroom into his dream studio, which he named Kiowa Trail, and began creating in it.
That's a good move.
Although Prince received positive reviews for his music, he sought a greater commercial breakthrough. Believing this was imminent, both Prince and Warner renewed their contract. His first solo creation, recorded in his home studio, was the album Controversy. The album was quite provocative, addressing societal issues such as gun violence and, for the first time, combining sex and religion in mainstream music. True to its title, while Controversy did not achieve a major breakthrough, it
Prince was just crazy. Like, what? He's trying like to find anything unique to come with.
Yeah,
Like, to make
so in
you...
the same album, there is a song that speaks about the streets violence and everything.
Yeah.
There is a religious song,
And
then
also
there
a
is-
sex song.
Oh,
Oh. So,
that's interesting.
Yeah.
I think if it happened that time, it has never been repeated soon.
I don't know, but I feel like he was just trying to make himself like stand out every
Unique,
time, like
yeah.
make anything unique out of himself.
Yeah.
reached number 21 on the top 40. In the same year, André Simone, who had witnessed Prince's desire for control over every aspect of his band and his insistence on managing all processes, left Prince in pursuit of his own self-fulfillment. Despite their initial close friendship, time had changed their relationship. We're now approaching the album that truly exploded and catapulted Prince to mega fame. 1999, released in 1982, was a breakthrough in his career, selling 4 million copies in the US and reaching number 9 on the charts.
Wow.
The single Little Red Corvette became his first global hit, breaking into the top 10 of the Billboard Hot 100.
Well, we watched that song.
Yeah, we
Little
did.
Red Corvette. It was really
Corvette.
interesting.
Yeah.
And Corvette, the Aka.
Oh.
I remember.
Corvette.
The tour Prince embarked on earned a solid $10 million and filled 20,000-seat arenas. Album 1999 not only put Prince on the cover of the coveted Rolling Stone magazine, but also saw his musical success compared to Michael Jackson's, as both were among the first artists to truly transition from black music into the broader white mainstream. Later, Prince even took offense at being compared to Jackson, leading to a rivalry between them. If 1999 propelled Prince into the mainstream, then the album Purple Rain and its accompanying feature film, released in 1984, cemented his status as an icon. The album sold 25 million copies worldwide, making it the best-selling soundtrack to a feature film of all time.
Wow. I wanted to say that because even if we ever watched this song Purple Rain, the song it's so amazing, so it's worth it.
And I've heard that there was a film of it.
Okay, really?
Yeah, I paused because I knew you didn't heard about it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it is. Listen to it.
The mainstream, then the album Purple Rain and its accompanying feature film, released in
His accompanying feature film.
Okay.
In 1984.
Wow.
Oh, guys, if you know more about that
film, you can
so the film talks about Purple Rain.
I think it's featured Purple Rain.
It featured. Oh, there is a film that featured Purple Rain in the film.
Yeah. I think so.
Oh, wow.
It's featured. Okay. I don't know much.
1984 cemented his status as an icon.
Yeah.
The album sold 25 million copies worldwide, making it the best-selling soundtrack to a feature film of all time. The film is considered a somewhat autobiographical portrayal of his life, and each song became a part of pop culture, including hits like Let's Go Crazy, When Doves Cry,
I think now we will be jumping into more of
I think
Prince
Prince
catalog.
has a lot of good tracks.
Yes.
Every beat that our narrator gives us, it gives you a different vibe. The beat, dun, 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 dun. Oh,
so we are now ready to get into more of him. So stay tuned, guys, because more will be coming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
of course, Purple Rain. The Purple Rain tour also enjoyed instant success. With 1.7 million tickets sold and setting attendance records at nearly 100 concerts, the tour was a commercial mega
100
success.
concerts?
And now, shifting focus from Prince's career to his personal life, it was just as eventful. Women adored Prince.
I'm Prince. You may do so now.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Even the man was like, what? Women adored him. So.
Yeah, but the guy was really laughing with sarcasm, like.
1984, he had been involved in several notable relationships, including Susan Moonsey, with whom he began dating in 1980, and they were possibly engaged. Denise Matthews, a model with whom Prince started a relationship in 1982. She became the lead singer of Vanity 6, a girl group that Prince produced. Sheila E., whom he met in 1978. They had a professional and friendly relationship, but they couldn't resist each other. By 1984, while Sheila was recording backing vocals for his hit Purple Rain, their relationship deepened into something more serious. We will revisit Prince's relationships in more detail later. For now, let's continue. Prince was always productive, releasing roughly an album a year until his death. Bored with performing Purple Rain on tour and unwilling to write what he considered obvious or too easy, Prince took a different direction. He pivoted and gave us another #1 album, Around the World in a Day. which shifted away from his heavy funk roots towards a more overt pop psychedelia. The album produced hits like Raspberry Beret
We don't know about this.
and became the first record released under Prince's own label, Paisley Park, distributed by Warner Brothers. Despite receiving mixed reviews, the album topped the charts and sold 4.2 million copies worldwide. However, fans loved the more sensual side of Prince, so the following year he released the critically acclaimed album Parade, which reached number 3 on the Billboard chart and featured the massive high-octave hit Kiss. The track was part of the soundtrack for Prince's second film, Under the Cherry Moon, a romantic film about a pair of gigolos that was poorly received by critics and grossed only $10 million at the box office.
Why? Did it receive some critics?
I don't know, but they say the topic was about romance.
Yeah.
Also, this is the second film.
Yes.
What do you want from me, Mary?
To know what you want from me.
I want to take you on a trip to the moon.
Returning to the US after filming, Prince performed 11 brief concerts known as hit-and-run shows. These were test runs for a larger tour, the Parade Tour, which was set to take place in Europe and was his first full-scale tour of the continent. Although the Parade Tour was short, consisting of 19 arena concerts, it sold out immediately, with 150,000 tickets sold, and Sheila E. opened for him. As the Parade Tour progressed through the summer of 1986, Prince became increasingly constrained, feeling that he needed to explore new creative directions that he believed he couldn't pursue in collaboration. The expanding tour lineup led to tensions within the band, which, according to the musicians, was turning into a dance show featuring Benton, Safford, and Brooks. Prince's frustration became evident during the climax of the final concert of the tour, when he smashed 2 of his custom-made cloud guitars on stage while performing Purple Rain. This act and the song seemed to symbolize his desire to end the era of the revolution and move on solo. At that moment, the band realized their time had come to an end. Prince disbanded the entire group and issued a brief press release on October 17, 1986, stating, "Rockstar Prince is disbanding the revolution, his band of the last 4 years, and is exploring a new direction." Thus began Prince's solo career. The band's last project was a double LP titled Dream Factory.
Okay, I now get it. Remember there were times we were doing, there was a Prince and the Revolution. Then we found the other song that just Prince alone.
Yeah.
So we were asking ourselves, who are these, the Revolution?
Okay.
So it's the band that he formed
Yes.
after he left the Wannabe Records.
Yes, the Warner Brothers record.
Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Oh, Warner Brothers. Wow.
Which they completed just before the Parade Tour, and which was intended to be their 4th album. However, upon returning to the studio, Prince decided to record his first solo album under the pseudonym Camille. By November of that year, a new 8-track album titled Camille was ready. For some reason, Prince decided to shelve it and return to the already written Dream Factory, reworking it to remove any influence from the revolution. The result was a triple album that he named Crystal Ball. Concerned about the commercial viability of a triple album, Lenny Waronker from Warner was tasked with persuading Prince to trim the album down to 2 discs. Prince gladly agreed, and with a new title for the project, the resulting double album was released as Sign of the Times. Sign of the Times was released on March 30, 1987, and received critical acclaim, topping the charts in both the US and the UK, despite having 3 top 10 singles, including You Got the Look,
Okay.
a late addition to the tracklist, and a duet with girlfriend Sheila E. Sign of the Times did not meet the expectations of the American audience. A new touring band was needed to replace the members of the Revolution who had been dismissed. The only remaining member was Matt Fink on keyboards. Sheila E. joined to replace Bobby Z on drums, and new recruit Kat Glover was brought in as a dancer and backup vocalist. Like the previous Parade Tour, the Sign of the Times Tour focused on Europe to support Prince's growing fanbase across the Atlantic. This tour marked a turning point in his career, as Europe began to surpass the US in music sales. This shift was largely due to the American market's perception that Prince had delved too deeply into mainstream pop music after Purple Rain, moving away from the funk roots of his earlier albums. This was indeed a key reason for disbanding The Revolution, to refresh both Prince's studio work and live performances. Prince was not used to not getting his way, said Alan Leeds, tour manager from 1983 to 1989. In 1985, Warner Brothers allowed Prince to establish his own label, Paisley Park Records. Although the label was an imprint of Warner Brothers Records, the music giant took the rare step of granting the artist full creative control over all the label's output. Prince
that's what he had been wanting all that long, because even when joining the label, he was like, I wanted a label which will allow me to be maybe in a full control of my the music. Like I think what he always wants in the entire his musical journey is just to have that full control of the music.
Exactly.
Yeah. Even after dissolving that band and the Revolution, he wanted just to have something on his own, like to run something, to control it, like to feel I am the boss
yeah,
or something.
but he has a good, I can say he has a good passion to what he does. Remember, he started by doing a session on can I say a borrowed record label. That's the room that he recorded. Then he came to his own studio at the apartment that he rented or he bought, where he bought. And then you see, starting a band, then a recording label. He was really doing well.
Yes, he was a go-getter.
Exactly.
Intended not only to use the studios for producing his own music, but also began signing new artists to Paisley Park Records. Thanks to his successes, in January 1986, Prince commissioned the construction of his own recording and rehearsal studio, Paisley Park Studios, a sprawling two-story building with white panels, equipped with state-of-the-art recording equipment and a sound engineering pavilion. It resembled more of an industrial facility than a celebrity's mansion, nestled in the suburban countryside of Chanhassen, Minnesota. The first person he signed to his personal label was his casual girlfriend, whom he had met in the 1980s and who appeared in his film Purple Rain, Jill Jones. Prince was so eager to showcase her vocal talent that he...
So this is Jill Jones. And then there was a someone.
Remember when the narrator started about his relationships, he mentioned about 4 girls, then he said like he'll come back there. Yeah,
because I had even in like a little period of that time, he was like in 1978, he has this girl. And now I'm hearing about Jill Jones, and then there is she also.
Okay.
Oh.
He wrote every song on her debut self-titled album. Paisley Park, built at a cost of $10 million, included 2 fully equipped recording studios and 1 rehearsal studio, as well as 12,400 square feet of sound engineering facilities, where full-scale film shoots and concert rehearsals could take place. By 1996, the complex was also open for commercial rental. Among the visitors were Madonna and Stevie Nicks. Paisley Park remained Prince's main recording studio until his death in...
Stevie Nicks of Fleetwood Mac?
Yeah, Fleetwood Mac.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Madonna, we've ever done a song from
Madonna.
Yeah.
The one song, huh?
Yeah, one song from Madonna. Okay, interesting.
In 2016, operating as his personal label and holding the rights to produce Prince's albums until 1993.
Love relationship, and so he agreed to it, and we kind of sent the tapes back and forth to each other, and we keep building it. It was like he would write a sentence.
Madonna recorded part of her Like a Prayer album at Paisley Park in 1988, for which Prince co-wrote and duetted on the track Love Song.
Say what you mean what you say.
As well as providing guitar solos for Keep It Together and Act of Contrition, and produced the first version of the title track, Like a Prayer. Several films were also shot there. Well, let's return to Prince's album, Sign of the Times. In response to criticism that Prince had lost his funkiness and that Sign of the Times lacked bass, Prince worked on a new album in 1986, influenced by the emerging hip-hop genre. Revisiting the name Camille, he aimed to make this album the funkiest ever recorded. His project was titled The Black Album. However, its content turned out to be too bleak even for Prince, and in December 1987, just days before the planned street release, Prince pulled the album from sale, feeling that its lyrical narrative was too negative and obscene. Written during a one-off experiment with ecstasy, Prince decided to create a hasty replacement, a record with a much more positive tone. This new record, Lovesexy, Prince's 10th album, was completed by February 1988 after just 3 months of recording. It was one of the fastest albums ever completed from writing to release. While it reached #1 on the UK Albums Chart, it only made it to #11 in the US, with the album selling better in Europe than in the States.
Okay.
Ooh, leave alone the selling part of the albums. I've just noticed that every year Prince had an album.
Oh.
Yeah, like every year.
Yeah,
We
by the way,
mentioned
he
that
has been having
19,
so many albums.
yeah, let's if I can trace well, the moment he went to one B Records, it was around 1979 there, and in 1989 he was on his 1986 he was on his 10th album.
Okay.
In 9 years there. So I think every year he will produce an album, and there is this album that he say that he didn't accept it, even him personally, so he brought it down. That was the 11th album.
Okay.
He's really hardworking.
Yeah, he tried so.
Yeah.
Was
Consequently,
so passionate.
the Lovesexy tour focused primarily on Europe, attracting an audience of 500,000 over 77 concerts. The show was performed in the round and was so extravagant that it barely broke even despite selling out. Disappointed by the decline in popularity in the US, on January 3rd, 1989, Prince fired his management team, Cavallo, Ruffalo and Fagnoli, replacing them with the director of Purple Rain, Magnoli, as his new manager. The first task for Magnoli was to rekindle American interest in Prince. The star had avoided interviews throughout the 1980s, so in 1989, Magnoli created a television documentary titled Prince, a musical portrait to reintroduce him to the nation. He filmed inside Paisley Park, where photography had previously been prohibited, and recorded interviews with Eric Clapton, George Clinton, Terence Trent D'Arby, Quincy Jones, Little Richard, Randy Newman, Miles Davis, as well as colleagues Owen Husney and Alan Leeds, and members of Prince's band, capturing the enigma of Prince. The documentary
He even did with George Clinton. That's from the Parliament Funkadelic. Yeah.
Also featured archival footage from rehearsals and after shows during the Lovesexy tour, personal footage from the Dirty Mind tour, and scenes of Prince working in the studio. The project was later picked up by the BBC, edited and aired on December 13th, 1991, as a 1-hour special titled Prince's Paisley Park.
Okay.
He's here before us every morning, and he's here after us every night. And
oh wow.
Okay. Sorry, before we proceed, saying Princely Paisley Park, I just remembered like most of the songs that we were doing, they were written like Paisley Park. Most of the songs that we were doing, it was written Paisley Park.
Paisley Park, yeah.
So I thought like it was a live performance in a place known as Paisley Park. So I've now come and connected the dots, and I'm like, okay, it was his studio. Yeah.
Ooh.
I've never seen anyone with so much energy and creative output.
Despite Prince's growing popularity in Europe, interest in him in the US slowed down. Trying to boost his star's appeal, Warner Brothers proposed that Prince contribute to the soundtrack of their upcoming blockbuster Batman. Since director Tim Burton hoped to include 1999 and Baby I'm a Star in key scenes of the film, Prince, a fan of the series since childhood, decided instead to record an entire album of new material and compose and record the soundtrack himself. This approach proved highly successful, with the album topping charts in both the US and the UK. With sales of 6 million copies in the US and 11 million worldwide, the Batman soundtrack became one of the fastest-selling albums at the time, reaching 1 million sales within the first week, and its lead single, Bat Dance, became Prince's 6th #1 single in the US.
Oh, scary.
This experience reignited Prince's interest in filmmaking, and with his new success, Warner Brothers agreed to finance Prince's scriptwriting for his third film and its accompanying soundtrack. The resulting album, Graffiti Bridge, was predominantly recorded.
Now this is the third film.
Yeah, the third film.
Okay, maybe you guys can set us even some of the films. Maybe we get a chance to watch them because it's interesting
Exactly.
to explore. Is our film part.
We'll start with the first one that Purple Rain featured in.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can remember that.
By Prince, who once again worked largely in isolation. The tracks on the album were reworkings of much older material accumulated in his legendary vault of unreleased back catalogue. The film Graffiti Bridge was shot entirely at Paisley Park Studios in just 36 days and completed by March 1990. Essentially a sequel to Purple Rain, it continued the story of the rivalry between two opposing bands, this time competing over two rival venues. However, due to numerous changes in the cast and script, the film failed to achieve even a fraction of the cinematic success of its predecessor. It was poorly received and quickly withdrawn from theaters. For Prince, the film's failure was a significant blow. The soundtrack for Graffiti Bridge, released in August 1990 to generate momentum for the film's release, was accompanied by a premiere that was delayed to November due to reshoots, marking the beginning of its disappointing performance. In June of the same year, Prince began the Nude Tour, named to highlight that it was a concert tour with a limited audience intended to recoup costs incurred from the previous Lovesexy concerts. Additionally, Nude was Prince's first tour not supporting an album, but driven by album sales, another tour that did not take place in the US. Nonetheless, the Nude Tour attracted 1 million fans over 60 concerts in Europe and Japan. Although Prince performed only a few songs from Batman and Graffiti Bridge, by the end of the tour, he rediscovered his love for performing with a band during the tour. Eager to return to the studio after the tour, he set aside the drum machine and sampler, as his next album was planned to be vibrant and driven by the power of the band. However, Prince was still eager to release a major commercial hit to restore his popularity in the US, which had declined since the peak of Purple Rain. His frustration began to simmer, and he started blaming his label, Warner Records. Indeed, his work in the late 80s was perceived as following trends rather than setting new boundaries in music. Confronted with the prospect of diminished relevance amidst the rise of hip-hop, too deep a dive into mainstream white culture, and a growing focus on European tastes, he needed a much-needed reset for his career and material for his upcoming 13th studio album. It was time for funk. Prince named his backing vocal group the New Power Generation, NPG, starting with the Lovesexy album in 1988. But it wasn't until 1991, after two subsequent albums, that he began collaborating with the group on songwriting. Prince was thrilled with the new lineup and introduced NPG with a powerful debut through two headlining performances at the Rock in Rio Festival on January 19th.
So this is like another band?
Yeah, this is another one.
So after his solo career for some time, he now joined a band again.
Yeah. The narrator told us that he was performing, I think where, then he noticed that that psych on stage with the band.
When you are with a band, it's more better than you alone.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
that's
so
where
the first one was The Revolution, and then this is New Power Generation. Like the second one, not even the first one.
19th and 24th, 1991. At the iconic Maracanã Stadium, drawing up to 60,000 spectators, the first night being broadcast on MTV. The debut project of MPG, which they shared equally with Prince, was titled Diamonds and Pearls. On September 5th, 1991, Prince and NPG performed Get Off at the MTV Video Music Awards, creating a significant impact.
Get up. 23 positions in a one-night stand.
Now he had jumped to hip-hop vibe.
Okay.
Yeah, these are hip-hop vibe.
Warner Brothers launched a strong promotional campaign, and when the album was released on October 19th, it quickly went double platinum. The singles from the album also brought Prince his 7th and 8th #1 hits in the US with the title track and Cream.
It's your time.
Despite praise for its high musical quality, the album received criticism from the music press, which claimed that Prince was more following the latest trends than setting them. Diamonds and Pearls covered various...
I think I think also, despite him working so hard, he has really faced a lot in terms of releasing some of his
By
albums,
the way,
some of the films. Like,
yeah.
he really worked so hard, maybe thinking like, okay, maybe this will get a good reception. Then boom, it received critics
But
again.
he's a go-getter, as you said.
Yeah.
He didn't give up.
He doesn't give up.
Yeah,
He didn't
and
give up.
choosing trends, I think that's what all a musician does, or what should be done, because basically we are also a musician or an artist is there to make something financially. So if there is something selling, why not sell
Yeah,
it?
chip into it.
Yeah, like
Sometimes
nature,
I feel like
yeah.
maybe it's not all the time. You should
Yeah.
not do that all the time, but once in a while, just
And
go
remember,
get
even
it.
you have your fans that are expecting you to do that.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and also it showcases how flexible you are, how advanced
How
can
quick
do.
you are to.
Yeah. How quick can you adapt to different types of music? So for those who are criticizing him,
various genres, but its interpretation of hip-hop was essentially Prince's own version of the genre.
see,
Nevertheless, the album met his commercial ambitions, with 5 million copies sold worldwide. More importantly, as the album reached 3rd place on the charts, Prince's commercial appeal in the US was finally fully restored. Let's now return to Prince's personal life.
Okay.
At the beginning of 1985, Prince was dating Devin De Vasquez, spending late nights
1985.
together at extravagant after-parties
You're
and enjoying
counting?
lavish breakfasts at hotels. They were together for about 6 months. After that, he met a woman who came to love not just Prince, but his life as well, Susanna Melvoin. Although they had known each other since the early 1980s and had worked together, their relationship didn't start until 1985. They were in Paris filming Under the Cherry Moon, in which she was set to star. One day, Prince woke her up.
So she was the star in that film, and now she became the girlfriend. Okay.
And said, "I don't want you to be in the movie. I want you to be my wife." And so they got engaged. Songs like Nothing Compares to You, which, by the way, many music lovers mistakenly think is by Sinead O'Connor.
All the flowers that you planted, mama.
If I Was Your Girlfriend, Empty Room, and Crystal Ball are just a few of the tracks Prince wrote about Melvoin.
Wow.
Although their engagement did not lead to marriage, Melvoin says it was something she wouldn't trade for anything in the world. In 1989, Prince was with Kim Basinger. He released a 12-inch extended mix of Scandalous, titled Scandalous Sex Suite, which reportedly included sounds of their intimate moments with Kim in the studio.
Did I love you?
Prince never limited himself to relationships with just one woman. So there were also Carmen Electra and Nona Gay, and we'll leave it at that for now. On August 31st, 1991, Prince was scheduled to headline the Summer Extravaganza Festival at Blenheim Palace, for which he had received a $300,000 advance. However, he withdrew from the event because he was unhappy with the way it was organized.
Okay.
The advance payment and the costs of organizing the show led his promoters, who were operating with limited funds, to cancel the event.
Okay.
Almost 50,000 tickets that had already been sold could not be refunded.
What?
Legal threats followed, and eventually, in December of the same year, Paisley Park's director was sent to London to announce that fans could exchange their tickets for priority seating at the upcoming Diamonds and Pearls tour. As a result, it became the most notorious concert scandal Prince never performed, significantly damaging his relationship with British fans for years to come. When the Diamonds and Pearls tour started in the spring of 1992, it was a significant success and set attendance records. A total of 50 concerts were attended by 850,000 fans, but Prince once again avoided the US, focusing instead on regions where album sales were strongest: Europe, Japan, and Australia. On August 31st, 1992, Warner and Prince signed a record-breaking 6-album contract worth $100 million, which at the time was the largest contract ever given to a solo artist. Warner even took the unusual step of granting the musician a position as vice president of music production, which included a seat on the board of directors and all the trimmings, including an office complex at their headquarters in Century City. Despite its value, the contract quickly proved to be a poisoned chalice and defined the rest of Prince's career. From the outset, Prince was reluctant to sign the agreement and regretted it as soon as he did. as the rights to publish and own his music now transferred to Warner Brothers Records. However, Prince needed the funds to maintain his Paisley Park studios, which cost $2 million a year and was kept in a 24-hour readiness in case he wanted to record at any time of day or night. Interestingly, the total revenue from all of Prince's...
So $2 million just for him to record anytime he wants.
Yeah, it's always be kept ready.
Ready for him to record anytime
he wants. And it's he spent there too.
$2 million
US dollars. And he doesn't live there.
Yeah, just
and that's
to make
how
it ready for him.
Yeah, like he invests on what he does.
He loves.
He loves it. He invests in there. That's the dedication or that everyone should have.
That's sure. Like he really loves what he's doing.
And he's dedicated to it.
Yes.
13 previous and most popular albums, released between 1978 and the 1992 contract, amounted to $300 million. However, it seems that Prince had little of that money left by the time the contract was signed. For Warner's investment to pay off, his releases after 1993 needed to sell 5 million copies each to generate the desired $100 million from the 6 albums. Yet it appeared increasingly unrealistic for Prince to regain the success he had enjoyed in the 1980s. One reason was the shift in mainstream music with the rise of R&B and hip-hop, which introduced new voices and fresh sound.
By the way, most of the R&B artists who are now are
in the 90s,
in the 90s and in the 80s, like late 80s. There were rise of many superstars and R&B artists. So
exactly.
That's why it maybe it was hard for him to maintain that popularity that he had maybe in the 80s.
Into an already crowded music industry. Seeking to enter this genre, Prince produced the debut album of Carmen Electra in 1992, with whom he not only worked, but, as mentioned, also had a romantic relationship. The album was intended to make a significant impact. However, when it was released in February 1993, it failed to make it to the charts despite a $1 million promotional effort. This marked the end of the post-contract honeymoon between Warner and Prince, with each party blaming the other for the album's failure. They soon realized the absurdity and impracticality of the seemingly insurmountable task of recouping $100 million investments with only 6 albums, even for an artist of Prince's caliber. As a result, Prince found himself struggling to secure future advances from the label, which laid the groundwork for the deterioration of their relationship and the inevitable conflict that followed.
Well, it's not your game. You didn't make the rules, so everything comes hard. As long as you're signed to a contract, you're going to take a minority share of the winnings.
One of the contract clauses granted Warner ownership not only of all of Prince's new recordings during the contract period, but also of all his previous recordings dating back to 1978. Prince's expenses spiraled out of control. Luxurious tours, a large entourage, and the maintenance of his Paisley Park complex made it difficult for him to argue against the terms. Feeling that the contract was unfair, Prince decided to launch a public and confrontational campaign to reclaim the rights to his music. He wanted to accelerate his output, aiming to release 2 albums a year. While Warner believed that such a high volume would saturate the market and decrease sales, the contract also restricted the number of concerts Prince could perform. Prince was frustrated that the contract and Warner were stifling his creativity, so they reached a small compromise. Although Warner preferred that Prince produce 1 album every 2 years, Prince agreed to deliver 1 album per year. However, the scale of these releases was not discussed. The dispute over the contract reached its peak on April 27, 1993. Having released only the first of the 6 albums required by the contract, Prince informed Warner of his intention to stop recording. Instead, he offered to provide the remaining 5 albums from his vault, which by then contained around 500 unreleased songs. During his vacation on his 35th birthday, June 7, 1993, Prince had the idea to declare himself dead and changed his name. "It divorced me from my past," Prince said. He believed that changing his name to an unpronounceable glyph would somehow nullify.
Like he's making his life to feel like a movie or a film or something like that. It's it's in movies or in film whereby some people always
Change identity.
change their identity and announce themselves dead so that just to have their own private
And
life.
as I said earlier, like the past, like the early 60s, 80s, 70s, musician had passed out, had gone through a lot on the contract issues. It didn't sideline those who came in the 70s, 80s. They also see Prince also went through a lot on a contract issue.
But before that, I think it was smooth. And then in the 90s, when it was like they wanted to end their contract, that's where maybe more trouble came in. Yeah.
Okay. It's that more money, more problem.
Yeah.
Qualify or at least highlight his protest against the 1992 contract. The lack of a name by which he could be addressed confused the press, the music industry, the public, and alienated some fans. He began to use the love symbol, a mashup of the gender symbols for man and woman, as his identification. On January 3rd, 1995,
I've been seeing this symbol in most of his clothes. And
even there's a guitar that he formed like
this symbol. So.
On the studio gate, he has that logo. It became its logo now for him.
Okay.
Registered this symbol as a trademark.
Oh, he registered that as a trademark. Oh.
As his own.
Yeah, his own trademark. Like you can't use it. It has a copyright on it.
Okay, yeah.
That's really bright on him.
Prince embarked on a US tour with the album Love Symbol, named the Act 1 Tour, his first domestic tour since the Love Sexy Tour of 1988.
This is something you can get up with a hug and a kiss. Come in, baby.
Despite the ridicule surrounding his name change, his reputation and commercial appeal among European audiences remained strong. Love Symbol topped the UK album charts. Prince's successes in Europe were further cemented by a series of Brit Awards for Best International Solo Artist in 1992, 1993, 1995, and 1996, with further notable performances at American Music Awards, World Music Awards, MTV Europe Awards, and VH1 Honors. This backdrop of increasing public adoration buoyed Prince, who began to seethe with animosity towards Warner Brothers, using every public appearance to further his quest for creative freedom. But in this case, there was also a downside for Prince. All of his subsequent work, referring to his albums, did not achieve the same level of popularity and success, because Prince made them deliberately different from his work with Warner Brothers, which did not always appeal to his fans. So let's move on to the years when Prince began to return to his true self, beloved by all. In the early 2000s, Prince began to experiment in areas he had not explored before. The 2001 album, The Rainbow Children, got lost in a mix of jazz.
Rainbow children rise.
Yeah.
While NEWS, from 2003,
So
delved
he went to pick his dad's traits.
Jazz,
Yeah, the jazz.
too deeply into instrumental meanderings. However, in 2004, Prince returned to his true style. He opened the Grammy Awards with Beyoncé, performing a medley of hits. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and later that year, during his induction, he performed a blistering guitar solo in honor of George Harrison on the song While My Guitar Gently Weeps.
This was the time everything also blew up for him. Like,
oh, by the way,
it was a game changer.
Prince, who always broke industry rules, also released Musicology under a one-off NPG deal with Columbia Records. Later, he released individual records with EMI, Arista, Universal, and even Warner Brothers.
Again.
He returned to his old-school tastes, and the album revitalized what we always loved about Prince: funk, psychopop, as well as sharp commentary on society, the Bible, war, and corruption in the post-9/11 world, and eventually reached number 3 on the Billboard Hot 2000 chart, becoming his most successful album since Diamonds and Pearls. Musicology received 5 Grammy nominations and won 2. Best Traditional R&B Vocal Performance for the song Musicology.
Interesting.
and Best Male R&B Vocal Performance for the song Call My Name. He toured extensively, performing for 1.47 million fans, making it the highest-grossing tour of that year. The album's success continued for years, and Prince performed during the Super Bowl XXIII halftime show in Miami in 2007, delivering one of the most dazzling and unforgettable performances in high heels. In 2010, Time named Prince one of the 100 most influential people in the world. After Musicology, Prince somewhat reduced his activity, but in his final years, he released 2 albums.
Before getting to in his final years,
Yeah.
I feel like Prince is one of the artists or one of the musicians who has been really in the industry for long.
Exactly.
Yeah, because we've just seen him from the 70s, 78 there until 2010.
8 to 9.
I think it's 10 now.
Yeah, now we're in 2010.
10, like that's a quite a longer period of time
Yeah.
compared to other musicians that we've seen, whereby they were just coming in a span of 10 years, maybe 15 years. Like
And I said, as I said
been a
earlier,
child,
that character of him trying to do different types of music, it is the one that made him to sail along the industry. Like you know, there is that a trend that comes. Maybe hip hop comes, he tries that. R&B comes, he goes back to jazz again. You love that. That's a flexibility.
Despite the critics, he comes
yeah.
back with another version of it.
He knows how to how can I say, to do the
to keep
the traffic on his side. You know, as an artist, you have to have a traffic, like every fan talks about you.
Hit and Run Phase 1 and Hit and Run Phase 2. Always inclined towards collaboration, he also dedicated himself to nurturing young artists, such as one of his backing vocalists, Judith Hill, and the young Lizzo at Paisley Park. Let's pause now and take a look at who was in Prince's personal life during the last years of his life. In 1996, Prince married Maite Garcia on Valentine's Day. "She really makes my soul feel complete," said Prince. In October 1996, they had a son, Amir, who was born with a genetic condition. After 6 days and several procedures to ease his breathing, Amir tragically passed away. After Amir's death, Garcia became pregnant again, but suffered a miscarriage. Later, Prince decided to become a Jehovah's Witness, which further distanced the couple, leading to their divorce in 1998. In 2001, Prince met Manuela Testolini, a philanthropist, and this shared interest brought them closer. They married the same year. Although the couple threw lavish parties,
I just remember something like Prince became a member of Jehovah's Witness. You remember that time when he was having this album of Dirty Minds?
Yeah.
Like he could even go to the stage with like an underwear and like a trench coat, and now he's a member of Jehovah's Witness. Like people really change.
So you guys, that means Jehovah's Witness is globally. You know, here when we were growing up, it's a religion that usually it has that missionary.
It was trending.
Yeah, missionary work of door to door. How can I say?
Oh, they always come to your door,
prayers,
maybe knock and ask you to pray with them. And
they give you some books that have stories.
They could come to schools.
To
hospitals. Okay,
there's the time, before we continue, just a short story. The time I usually, when you're at home and we are really having a lot of work, maybe in the farm, I usually pray for the Jehovah's Witness to just come through, because that day's work will end there. We go to the house, we pray
and pray with them.
We pray them. we drink some tea, so that work in the farm will just end there by the arrival of Jehovah's Witness.
Okay.
Each costing $50,000, their relationship as a couple was relatively private. In 2006, they divorced but remained friends with great respect for each other. In 2007, Prince met Bria Valente and they began dating. She also decided to become a Jehovah's Witness. In 2009, Prince began producing her, and her debut album, Elixir, was released. When asked about his relationship with Bria in 2010, Prince responded, "Personal interest has now taken a back seat." According to the book Prince, Chaos, Disorder and Revolution, Prince was captivated by Bria merely because of how quickly she grasped the Holy Scriptures. In 2014, he met Judith Glory Hill, inviting her to his studio, and from that moment...
So despite Brie changing into Jehovah's Witness, they also got divorced.
Yeah.
Okay.
Despite him grasping the verses very well, it ended badly.
Oh, so maybe not badly, but it ended.
It ended. Yeah.
Oh, that's so heartbreaking.
But he has really been in a, how can I say, many or a lot.
I wanted to say, like, despite him having like being genius in music and all that, I think he was also talented in having girlfriends and wives. Because he gets divorced after maybe some time, and then even after some little period of time, he moves on with another girl. Again, they get divorced or something. After a little period of time, he is another girl. Like, wow.
Despite even being a Jehovah's Witness follower, he didn't have that end to changing wives.
They started working together and dating. Prince began a tour in support of the album Hit N Run in early 2016, but had to halt it a few months later due to bouts of the flu and pneumonia. Hill was with him during a flight from Atlanta to his Paisley Park estate when Prince lost consciousness. They had been dining and discussing his performance that evening when his gaze froze and he dozed off. Realizing something was wrong when she couldn't wake him, the plane made an emergency landing in Moline, Illinois. "We didn't have anything on the plane to help him," Hill said. Upon arrival, an ambulance was called, and paramedics boarded the plane, which was still on the runway. They administered an opioid antidote injection to Prince and transported him by ambulance to Trinity Hospital in Moline. Prince recovered and was discharged from the hospital after 3 hours, resuming his flight home and quickly informing worried fans that he had been given emergency fluids due to flu-like symptoms. Many suspected that something more serious was happening. Concerns about Prince's health were heightened by his unusual behavior in the preceding months. His decision to write memoirs, the cancellation of the European leg of the Piano and A Microphone tour at the end of 2015, a tour that was intended to be a seated performance and the most introspective of his career. Over the next 2 days, Prince frequently visited the local Walgreens pharmacy to obtain prescription painkillers. His condition worsened and he sought urgent medical help, but his health deteriorated even before treatment could begin. On April 21, 2016, emergency services were called to Paisley Park Studios, where Prince was found on the floor of an elevator connecting his first-floor living quarters with the studio below. He was pronounced dead at the scene.
I had been preparing for 2 years, so I knew that it was coming.
What does that mean?
He said it a couple of years ago, because I've done everything that I've come to do. So I was crushed for about two years.
According to Jehovah's Witness tradition, which requires a funeral to be held within a week of death, Prince was cremated on April 23rd following a small private ceremony at Paisley Park, led by his sister, Tyka Nelson. The ceremony was attended only by close family members and musicians Sheila E. and Larry Graham. A subsequent investigation by the medical examiner determined that Prince's death was due to an accidental overdose of fentanyl, a powerful opioid painkiller. Fentanyl is a synthetic opioid that is 50 times stronger than heroin and fatal, even in doses as small as 1/4 milligram. In accordance with Prince's wishes, his home since 1987, Paisley Park, was open to the public for tours on October 6, 2016. The complex has since become a Graceland-style attraction and museum studio, where fans can make personal pilgrimages to the place where Prince lived and created his hits and iconic records that brought joy to many people around the world. Prince was 57 years old when he passed away. Today, Prince's musical legacy and image are managed by the Prince estate. Since he left no will or direct heirs, a lengthy legal battle to settle his estate continued until January 2022. Due to the complexity and cost of the legal proceedings, Prince's 3 siblings and named heirs sold their shares to Primary Wave. During this time, the estate was managed by the court-appointed Comerica Trust. The primary task of the Prince estate was to license songs from the now-opened Paisley Park Vault, which continue to be released by Warner Brothers and, since 2018, Sony Legacy Recordings. Sony acquired the rights to Prince's catalogue post-1993, and from 2021 also Warner's material, except for 4 soundtracks. Prince's unfinished memoir, The Beautiful Ones, was published in October 2019. After settling Prince's tax matters in July 2022, the estate transitioned to Prince Legacy LLC, which is wholly owned by the heirs and Primary Wave. Thank you for watching our video. If you enjoy, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell. See you later.
Okay.
That's the full story of Prince.
Yeah, his amazing journey.
Yeah.
He died at the age of 50, 51? 57. Okay. And I would love to say that even if it was not for his disease that he was fighting, I feel like he could still have so much chance and so much time to continue with his music.
Yeah,
because
even
I feel like
he was looking young.
He was still very young, at 50.
See, he was at 50, but still you can look.
He was still very young. Like the disease just ended his life before maybe just finishing all maybe that he wanted to accomplish or something. But he really, really tried so hard because from the 70s till 2016, he was still touring,
like
writing.
He covered 2 centuries.
Like he was still writing, like to maintain all that. Like wow. He really deserves some claps. And
exactly.
So like he really deserves a lot.
Exactly. And I also liked his story is really motivating, that never limit yourself to maybe the external pressures. He experienced a lot of external pressure. He did what he sees himself as right, and also he is a guy, I think he was also calculating his moves before he makes one. He could see the future, like if I do this, what will happen in the coming future. You could see even him firing all his manager just to look for someone creative who could increase his numbers in the States again. So that's creative, and I think that's an artist should be doing.
Like he was a go-getter. If he wants to get this, he will do anything to get that. And like his passion for music, for writing songs, for playing the instruments, like it was seen up to his last day. Like even at the last day or his last days, he was still spending time with the studio. So you could see like his passion was just into music.
Exactly. Thank you, Dan, for this episode. It has really gave us some film from him. We know that, and then it has really erased those doubts and question about Prince songs, because we are getting Prince and Revolution, Prince and what. Then his studio that we were thinking it was a place that they were recording the Presley Park.
And it's so it was good for him just to just a wish for him to let people or his fans or just people to go and tour his studio and see his pictures there, just to remember him and remember all he has been doing.
And also his music will still be remembered,
of course,
and honored, and a lot or many music we have just had here, we are going to be tackling them.
I think now we are ready for more of Prince.
So if you are a Prince fan, you are on the right place. Subscribe and feel free to check on our support links, by me coffee link or a Patreon to hit on us. Give us any that's your favorite from Prince.
And thank you so much, guys, for your time. Share your thoughts, share maybe what we forgotten and something, correct us where we are wrong, and we hope to see you on our next one.